Hello and welcome. I am Mara Cepeda. We are here today with another episode of Hashtag The Leader I Want, Rappler's campaign that focuses on issues, not personalities, platform, not gimmicks. We have here today a senatorial aspirant who used to be a member of the Bangsamoro Transition Commission under President Rodrigo Duterte. Now she is running for senator under the opposition slate. Hello, Ma'am Samira. Welcome to Rappler.
Hello, Mara. Assalam. Peace.
I'll dive right into my questions. President Rodrigo Duterte is the first Mindanaoan president. Do you think he has fulfilled his promise to the people of Mindanao?
For Mindanao, he did say that for his national agenda, drugs and criminality, acknowledge naman natin na talagang problema yon. Even in Mindanao, na malaking bulk of our problem is peace and order in Mindanao, and it relates to drugs as well sa amin sa parts of Muslim Mindanao. But for human life, at the expense of human life, I would say that it would be one of the things that I would really be concerned and express utmost reservation. The preservation of human life, we would have really failed in that aspect. So for Mindanao, where the peace movements have been very, very strong, for almost 40 years, we've been part of that. And even in Davao, ang lakas-lakas ng peace movement dyan with all-out peace movements, na national solidarity movements. I would say that this administration has to recommit to the fundamental precepts of what Mindanao stands for, which is interfaith, solidarity, and peace. Very important po yan. You cannot escape from faith, from respecting human life.
Okay. About a year ago, I remember I was covering at the House of Representatives nung nagkaroon po ng joint session with regard to extending martial law. And it was an emotional plea that you made. You were telling the lawmakers, wag nang i-extend, hindi kailangan ng martial law. And you had exposed human rights violations and abuses in Mindanao. And you are still against the extension of martial law. The government wants to extend it again for a third time. But there are groups, even people in Marawi, who actually support martial law and even want to extend it. You know, some lawmakers were even telling that you are a lone wolf in the wilderness. Now, ma'am, for the sake of those who don't know, for the sake of those who are not in Marawi, who are not in Mindanao, how in touch are you with the realities on the ground? What is really happening there that makes you convinced that martial law is not the answer to solve peace in the region?
Sure, Mara. Peace movements are grassroots. Definitely, we work with the church. We work with grassroots leaders and movements of masses across Mindanao. And therefore, kung sasabihin natin the survey would say yes, Esperon, a secretary, would actually say majority. I say, where is that data coming from? Did you actually ask every man on the street? And as LGUs, tayong mga mayors, are we giving up power? As congressmen, are we giving up power to suppress rebellion within our communities? Nasa atin yun eh. Nasa ating karapatan. The will to walk the streets and stop criminals, talk to emissaries or liaison people who can stop terrorism, stop the kids who are thinking this way. Importante yun eh. You don't give up power because that's what martial law says. You're giving it up for national implementation. And therefore, nakita natin after 17 months of Marawi that there's still not food accessible for the poorest, there's still missing people, there's children who are still hospitalized. It doesn't say that martial law has fully addressed basic human life dignity issues. So importante po is LGU executes, national government executes via DSWD, DOH. You don't need a martial law ruling, hindi ka araw-araw may martial law. Importante, meron kang execution.
Paano po ba nagiging prone to abuses kapag na-impose ang martial law?
Well, for instance, that lady in a Pagadian area that was interrogated whole day because she was carrying a dextrose. And then for past 2 weeks, may nakakuha pa rin akong PMs na, ma'am, I'm arrested because I'm suspected of being a maute. I mean, you have that kind of environment na nakadamit ka ba ng iba, nakaputi ka at nakaganito ka, kagaya ko, meron ka ng kakapkapan ka, and you can be... And yung bahay mo pwedeng pasukan basta-basta because that was the experience there. And of course, we honor and respect all the armed forces of the Philippines. But after my July 22, wala man lang kayong acknowledgement sa aking sinabi. Wala man lang kayong sinabi, Samira, hindi yan totoo. We are emailing you a full account and a report. And I'm sure the Supreme Court would also want to hear that the constitutional primacy is always premium on human life and dignity. You're going to have freedom of expression pa rin. And right now, even leaderships are not exercising full freedom of expression kasi nga everybody wants to toe the line, and towing the line is not the safest and most democratic way of ventilating the freedom of people to say something. You've killed a society of talking people. That's not the Filipino we should be.
Ma'am, I've been attending some of the events of the opposition coalition, and you have been mentioning about how you almost lost your 3-year-old son because of the war in Marawi. Ano po bang nangyari, ma'am? What is your personal experience during the Marawi siege?
Yes, Mara, I'm not a BBL quitter. I was a commissioner appointed by the president. I did my job. I attended 3 months full-scale sessions. I think I had the most number of interventions. The logbooks would bear me out. And my son was there, and that was the moment I had to make a decision. Save the life of my son and my family. My mom was there. So doon sila, and hindi man lang ako tinanong man lang ng executive department, Miss Samira, an appointee of the president, kumusta? Gagawin ba natin ang martial law? Hindi. I mean, kahit man lang naman tinimbrehan tayo ng konti, I'm a servant of the country and the president at that moment in time. And yet, hindi man lang tinanong tayo, and I'm the one from Marawi among the 21 appointees of the president. Ako yung taga Marawi, so I should have been consulted. This is not to gripe, this is not to sour grape, but this is to say that when you implement something and you're a partner of government, we should be real partners. And I'm drafting for the country a law that would end violence. Diba?
Ma'am, how would you assess the rehabilitation of Marawi? Hanggang ngayon, nothing concrete pa rin. And are you satisfied with how the government is handling it, with the reasons for the delay?
Mara, kauundas lang natin, and I agree with Yolanda. I agree with Zamboanga. Yung Yolanda po, walang pangalan ng mga patay. Just like Marawi, when you manage a siege without people co-managing with you, sasabihin mo gobyerno lang, failure yon eh.
Hanggang ngayon, ma'am,
So
wala pa rin pangalan.
Dito ngayon sa Marawi, groundbreak lang natin. After 17 months, 17 months na, hindi klaro na, saan kukunin yung pondo. It's like Yolanda all over again. So you don't want to repeat the mistakes of the past. You're gonna have to debris clear at this is the first armed destruction kasi Mara, so walang protocols eh. But the protocol is human people-led. Tao dapat maramdaman after 17 months of evacuation, walang ginagawa. Kami naman, give us that people's way of building back their house. So ngayon, it's government-led na naman. We're not learning from lessons. Co-manage it. Okay, you build the infrastructure, people build their own private homes, sabay tayo para hindi kami useless citizenry of this country.
So your suggestion would be a cooperation between the government and civic leaders in Marawi. Paano po ba, maybe you could give us an idea, maybe a suggestion to the government how to hasten the rehabilitation in Marawi? Kasi it's more than a year already.
Yes. So the Philippine Army Engineering Battalions say that nahihirapan yung backhoes and gamits nila para sa mga bombang kasing laki ng tao. Pero Mara, we remind na kasing bilis nyo, binomba yung location ng Marawi, the Islamic capital of a country, of the Philippines, ang tagal ba naman alisin? So it was so easy to decide bombing, but you cannot debomb an area. You're gonna have to full-scale use debombing devices. Alisin na. So that you can clean up the area, debris clear it, and give that human potential again to rise above their suffering and their trauma and their uselessness, frustration. I mean, the very biggest ventilation of terrorism is people not being useful sa society. Na itong mga taong to have access to this fundamentalist YouTube ideologies. No, we don't want that to happen again.
Okay. Ma'am, you mentioned earlier that you are not a BTC quitter. Now
I'm not.
We now have the Bangsamoro Organic Law. Now.
Yes.
Do you support the law in its current form? Do you stand by its constitutionality? Kasi ma'am, ngayon si Governor Tan of Sulu is trying to block it at the Senate.
I'm sure Governor Tan kasi would have been also really supported the BOL if he saw the value nga of ARM versus BOL, and maybe hindi siya masyad na reach out. And so I ask that all the Bangsamoro support this, because I've been a lecturer on peace building for long, and we've been supportive in a lot of universities, kahapon sa UP Baguio. And they see the value nga of ending war as a policy. Kasi you're gonna have all-out war, kakalabanin yung mga BIFF, Abu Sayyaf, and the billions na pera doon, kagaya ng Marawi war, 6 billion, Mara, can you not spend it for schools? Books, not bullets.
Ma'am, ano po ba ang value ng pagkakaroon ng Bangsamoro region for the Moro people? Kasi, you know, a lot of people, especially, for example, the people here in Metro Manila, we really don't understand kung saan po nanggagaling. Why do you need to have an independent or an autonomous region like that?
You know, the Philippine Muslims, because of war, have spread out. The indigenous peoples have spread out all over the country. In Baguio to Tawi-Tawi to Cebu, and you see them in sidewalks. That's not human dignity. They were former sultans. They were former royalties. And for you to address really the roots of terror, the roots of conflict, of 600 years of existence of our Muslim Filipinos na wala, feeling nila na strip away yung kanilang mga lupa, the homestead rules of the US, inalis sila ng hectarage ownership and power over the lands and culture. Naging governor generals ay foreign colonizers. Do you remove them from the lands that they occupied? Kasi nga, from 1903 onwards, naalis na kami. A lot of the Bangsamoros are outside of Mindanao already. They've stayed na outside in Luzon, Visayas. So that you're going to have to address the social justice aspect of it by bringing it back to the people. Na I also own some parcel of land. I am Filipino. And nangyari corporations eh. Kasi nga privatization. So you're going to have to give that dignity back to the human society that used to claim that they were part and parcel of this land.
How will the Bangsamoro law help the Moro people in terms of their livelihood?
Power yan. Power ng Bangsamoro to have a delegations of to trade fairs. You're going to have a special development fund, a rehab fund. You're going to have widows taken care of. You're going to have a very strong trade programming. Kasi nga meron tayong mga programming in the BOL for the Bangsamoro to manage the trade aspect of it. I was part of the economics committee, and I looked at a very strong taxation system. I wished and I hope for a culture-sensitive taxation na wag naman i-impose agad-agad. Kailangan naman prepare the Bangsamoro people to own their lands and then taxation. I mean, kailangan culture-sensitive. Yun ang siningit ko doon sa BOL.
What does it mean by culture-sensitive
You're gonna have to program it muna na wala pa nga silang lupa eh. How can you pay something na wala ka pang ownership? That's it. Mara, and then yung power mo over the transitional justice mechanism na hindi kami palagi galit sa sundalo or government. There's gonna be a transitional justice mechanism. Wala yun yan sa ARM. And then we were begging for, when I was ARM Assemblywoman, to have National DepEd facilitate madrasa examinations. You know what happened to Marawi? Hindi nga accredited yung mga madrasa Islamic schools. A lot of them were just teaching what they thought was Islam and Arabic. So yan, nag-burst out na.
Under the Bangsamoro law, ma'am, that you will have your own educational system.
The DepEd National, he's got to share or to give that power of madrasa accreditation, madrasa examination process to the Bangsamoro, which understands Arabic, which understands Islamic studies better than National DepEd, because we still don't have people there. It's a matter of expertise.
How important is that for young Moro?
Because our Bible is written in Arabic, Mara. So to be a good Muslim, like a good Christian, you're going to have to understand your faith.
Yes.
And it tells us not to kill. Bawal pumatay. Eh, who's telling that to others na hindi regulated? Yung iyong madrasa. And of course, we're not saying na lahat yung madrasa. Magagalit yung mga ulama sa akin. Of course not. But we're saying that the basic Puritan teachings of our faith, which teach us not to even hurt a fly. Ganun na. You cannot throw a trash in the middle of a street. Fundamental teaching yon. It's not being taught. You're going to have to remind people of the basic teachings of cleanliness, of purity, of non-violence, which are in our Quran and Bible.
How will the Bangsamoro Organic Law help address the issue of terrorism and bring peace in Mindanao?
Educational system is one. Nasabi ko sa'yo, the ownership of teachings na kailangan i-cascade down the line, the value of peace education, which we propose to be national. Yan ang aking national proposal, Mara, that peace education from wherever in the country, because every Muslim nga is all over the country. And then therefore, we need to teach all the young children the value of accepting somebody kahit iba yung pagmumuka at pananamit. So very important sa BOL is to implement that programming and also for MILFs already to be part of the formal peacekeeping force of the National Army and the National PNP. We're going to have a NAPOLCOM that reviews the process, and of course, matanda na yung sindalo ng MILF. Would you make him have civil service eligibility? Yes, but there's a form of eligibility examination or accreditation na hindi mahirapan masyado yung former rebels. They cannot go back to 4-year schooling. There's going to be an accreditation process.
Anong nakikita niyo, ma'am, na difficulty in implementing the Bangsamoro Organic Law, lalo na magkakaroon ng plebiscite? I mean, it's one thing to lay down the law, it's another to actually implement it, stick to both ends of the law,
so
government and
the relevance of Rappler trying to expose nga itong issue of issues of the public interest is that mahining voters ed namin Mara. If Rappler can help us get access, get information down the line, kasi nga from as far as Tawi-Tawi, hindi daw nila nabasa yung batas. So we're going to have to translate even the information of what is BOL to the human language of the communities para pa-appreciate nila na importante ito sa kanila. Kasi we were in Cotabato and we received position papers from Tawi-Tawi, from Maguindanao, oppositions from here and there, pero hindi nila as a population of 3 million, hindi namin yan lahat na-reach. So you make it relevant to them through sana the fourth estate, which is media. So sana tulungan nyo kami sa voters end.
and that's why we're having
Plebiscite on January, you're gonna have to help us, especially in Northcote, Lanao del Norte, where Lanao del Norte feels, and in Sulu na BOL hindi pa masyadong acceptable. So maybe the Muslims and Christians, the Christians at that, can value a BOL that would redress land dispossession. Alam niyo ba, masakit yun? My feral brother Christians and sisters, masakit yun mawala ng lupa. 100 years na kwento to eh. So sana makita niyo yung BOL, baka ngayon hindi niyo mararamdaman, but in the long run, to justly apportion lupa, which is a Philippine issue naman, agrarian reform, kailangan natin ng batas na BOL.
Okay, let's move on to other national issues, ma'am. We're going to that part of the interview where I'll be asking you how you view some of our most pressing problems. So, siguro unang-una na ngayon yung how do we address inflation, the increasing prices of goods?
You're gonna have, the coalition position is you're gonna have to address taxation na hindi burdensome, so you're gonna have to revoke. That's the opposition coalition state position. Revoke the taxation on burden.
To train.
To train, especially in fuel.
Okay.
Kasi gasolina eh, alam nyo ba, in Mindanao, kasi nga na-experience natin yung kahirapan, 5 peso, 10 peso increase is already dramatic. Ano pa kaya yung 300 pesos sa gasolina or more na mga pasada ng mga taxi? So, anything burdensome for me as a Mindanao ethnic candidate na nahihirapan na dahil sa pagkain, we will oppose.
How should we solve poverty?
You're going to have to address it at the roots. Kailangan po inclusion of people na marginalized sa laylayan. Kailangan po, you're going to have to hire more people. Bring us more jobs sa laylayan. Eh, lahat na sa NCR eh, sa Manila eh. Congested tayo masyado. Bring us, LGU should be able to get more companies to go in the provinces. That doesn't have to be a federal solution. Kailangan na naman, again, it's not a martial law thing to do. Just use your economic power to bring more economic enterprise sa baba and hire more Muslim and indigenous communities to your workplace. Not just Bataan, you're gonna have, pumunta na kami sa Bataan eh, Bulacan eh, where companies are, bring it also to Mindanao.
Okay. What is your stance, ma'am, on the war on drugs? Is it the way to address the drug problem in the country? How do we solve the drug problem?
We value drugs and criminality as the major one of the major issues, pero hindi yan yung dalawa lang na problema. Problema sa atin pa is really economic. Very important po yung economic access, freedom of information, kung alam ng tao kung saan siya pupunta. Importante, put the pathway so that yung mga pinakababa ay nakakaramdam ng serbisyo. Eh right now, ang karamihan na namamatay naka-short pants at naka-chinelas. Address it from the top. Also, try to collect more taxes. Ang dami pa sigurong taong hindi pa nagbabayad ng full taxes, corporation. So, you're gonna have to do a full-out implementation of the law. You don't need a federal solution. It's really the laws, the best of the laws are here. Just implement it to the max.
Do you agree that we should approach the drug problem as a health issue?
As a health issue? Well, definitely the 4 pillars of criminal justice at the root. Yung mga batang pumapasok dyan, bakit? So education, bantayan yung mga barkada, mothers and parents actively sa PTA. So 4 pillars of justice plus the parents. Look at that, hindi dahil sa kadamihan na pinasok mo sa rehas. That's not the concrete achievement. And kaming mga Maranao ethnics, experience namin yung hulidap. Kayong mga pulis na umaabuso, I'm looking you in the eye right now, mga kababayan ko for 20 years, napaplantingan nyo daw, please address accountability, not just more people in jails.
Do you support the proposed joint exploration of the West Philippine Sea with China?
Exploration. Assert territorial integrity, where with the very precautious, the cautious situation natin ngayon, we're not sure, and then yung contract sa Marawi, baka i-award sa China. Takot kami na baka maging, China coming in is something that we will give up some rights over our seas. So natakot kami at that moment in time sa Marawi, na they might award to China the contractors and open up other things for China to be able to access. So, let it not be that way, that the exploration, I'm sure there are other people without interest sa Pilipinas who might want to explore with us.
Is it time for charter change, and do you support shifting to federalism?
I would say again that look at the roots of problems, implementation of laws. It's not necessarily a federal or a martial law solution.
And do you agree with the increased militarization of the government? How do you assess, ma'am, yung performance ng mga former police and military officials na ina-appoint ni President Duterte to several civil positions?
Wag personalin sana ng Philippine Army. I'm a member of the Military Advisory Board. But militarizing the bureaucracy should be countered with civilianizing the bureaucracy. Ang gagaling ng graduates natin sa UP, sa Miriam, Ateneo Lasal, MSU Mindanao State, Siliman, and get these administrators outside the provinces and make them help the national bureaucracy. Why would we want military people who are focused on security matters to be handling food, to be handling operations of relief? So, may kanya-kanyang expertise and I'm sure President would appreciate that. At kaming mga kababaihan, we would want to be part of decision-making bodies. DOH, DSWD, why don't you find the qualified women?
Nakakailangan po ba kayo sa representation of women in
Definitely,
government?
of course. You already removed one lady who was potentially for DSWD. At lalo pang nasaktan kami, na binigay mo sa sundalo. So sana naman tingnan that gender imbalance is a problem. It's not contributing to nation building kasi yung decision making na right or zero sum, that's not the way it should be done. Women actually bring in a fresh perspective. They would be mediative, they will be facilitative. Oh, wala yan sa batas, pero sige nga, kausapin ko nga. Kausapin natin Kasi yung mga laylayan, hindi yan nare-reach ng batas. You're gonna have to find na yung mga laylayan na sa malalayo, na mga marginalized sectors, sa Baseco or wherever, na kailangan the woman's touch of being a family person, pagiging ina, magiging productive actually yon.
Para po sa isang batang babae, anong value, ma'am, para sa kanya yung makikitang maraming babae in government and leading positions in the country?
I can actually look at government as something close to me. Alam mo, Mara, a lot of the supporters natin are first-time voters. They've never voted down. And I'm so surprised, Mara, grabe, sabi niya. This is the first time, getting involved in politics. My team are all newbies. And I'm proudly able to say, friends like Ma'am Rebecca Padilla, who's never wanted to be involved in politics, they feel that there should be some transformation and change. So we just have to tap into the human, vibrant spirit ng mga tao wherever in the world na gusto nila change should come. Values-wise, no cursing, just plain and simple, value-ridden government government move.
You mentioned about the need for gender equality and gender representation in government. Would you support the anti-discrimination bill if you become
It is a major platform natin, Mara, na dapat po walang diskriminasyon sa ating mga LGBT community because one of the best energies are from their sector and they feel na hindi sila given equal opportunity, the PWD. It is not tokenism, but a lot of talent is coming from them. But sabi nga sa US policy din, affirmative action, which I believe in, that kailangan ng kumpanya at gobyerno hanapin din naman yung mga ethnic communities na hindi nasasama sa paggogobyerno. Hindi mo maamoy ang isang tao kung hindi mo siya kasama, ibang mga klaseng tao.
Let's go to your candidacy.
Yes.
What convinced you to run for senator?
It was a hard journey. I had to really process it in my mind, talk to God, talk to the church friends and the religious friends sa Islam, and went around the country. I literally went around the country seeking soul searching.
Wow.
And I actually asked my family, and hindi nila matanggap at first kasi nga
really?
we're really provincial, rural life lang ako. I've been 21 years based in Marawi and Mindanao. So talagang national is very far from us, na nahirapan kami mga bakwit. I mean, nang malistahan ng utang namin is as high as this. So, but with friends like abroad and here who say na kailangan natin, Sam, siguro manindigan, kakayanin natin with a team that are so multi-ethnic, they're gender conscious, and they're just representing different sectoral interests na marginalized. Parang nabigyan ako ng strength, Mara.
How did you prepare your family? Especially
Gutoc?
pag-campaign, hindi nyo na sila makikita as frequently as you would like
It
to.
was a strong mashwara, the consultation process by which kakausapin. Kaya yung value of talking, Mara, wag natin kalimutan na hindi lang nag-uusap ang mag-ina na sa cellphone ang kaharap eh. So I would actually remind the Filipino young, yung publiko, na take away 2 hours of social media time to talk to your family and visit your mom. That's peace building as well.
Why did you join the Liberal Party? How did LP convince you to become a member? And how did they convince you to run under the opposition coalition?
That's true. So Senator Kiko, yung NGO movements, they asked me, because sabi ko hindi ko kaya ang national machinery. There's never been a Muslim woman candidate for 25 years na nanalo. And I'm sure this is an impossible climb or a very hard climb. Pero sabi ni Miley Cyrus, it's the climb. Climb with me, help me climb. Kahit saan sa Pilipinas, lupalok pupunta ako para lang marinig ako. And if I have the logistical support of the coalition, which I feel shares my values of honor, honoring peace and honoring diversity, iba't ibang klaseng tao sa Pilipinas, mabigyan ng voice. Kagaya ng mga persons with disabilities. In that Marikina rally, there was a woman who was translating our platform in the deaf language. I will walk with them. I will walk sa mga kasama sa laylayan.
Pero ma'am, baka hindi niyo po ba naisip na baka mahirapan tayo? You're a newbie candidate and you're joining a party that is being vilified under the Duterte administration. Ngayon, ang dilawan, derogatory term na. So, what made you decide to still stick with LP, and how do you plan to address that? Yung meron, baka ma-associate tayo dun sa negative sentiment na dinidikit sa party.
You know, I've reached out to Davao City, and I've reached out sa so-called the other side, and it's not just about the dilawan eh. The values of peace and non-discrimination are universal. Hindi sa kulay eh. So, ma-appreciate ito ng OFWs who strongly support itong administration, na naninindigan ako sa party ng opposition on the value that you can also share eh. So, it's no longer just about being red or yellow, but we can actually unifiedly support the issues of minorities na ang tagal na naming wala sa Manila dahil pinipilit natin na makalimutan or nakakalimutan. So, I think I'm here for a mission and purpose, and Marawi rehabilitation is something to stand up for. I know, alam ko ang kahirapan, nadaanan natin yun eh. So I know how it feels na mahirapan kahit saan, urban poor ka man or what.
Apart from pushing for the anti-discrimination bill, ano pa po ang nasa inyong plataforma kung manalo kayo bilang senador?
Very important sa disaster preparedness is to involve the communities at the very basic level, prevent another Marawi or Zamboanga siege by having support of the NDRRMC all in the barangay level down up the mayor's level. So kailangan yung mga ambulansya, etc. are ready. So the NDRRMC framework has to be there. The IDP rights, the internally displaced persons bill, has to be passed so that there is protection legislation for these people na talagang walang-wala na, wala na ang gamit. Oh, so the Philippines is a calamity-ridden country. We face typhoons and calamities by the dozens every year. So definitely, yung aking karanasan bilang isang evacuation survivor, I can definitely put it at a more authentic level sa national platform because talagang naramdaman ko walang pagkain na dumarating So you're going to have to put in an oversight mechanism, legislation to protect the marginalized and the suffering communities.
And you also want to create the Lake Lanao Development Authority.
Yes, for ecosystem protection, not just for Laguna Lake to be looked at, but Lake Lanao is a national heritage. It's one of the deepest ancient lakes of the world that we need to protect. Alam mo ba, Amara, it's supposed to be the biggest lake and yet hindi mo napapainom yung population ng Marawi. Can you imagine? So you're going to have to tell National Power Corporation to give community funds for rehabilitating our lake na naubusan na ng forest tree shade. Kasi nga people are cutting trees and they're not replacing trees. So you're going to have to put in a lot of programming when you earn a lot of income for energizing Mindanao.
Down to my last few questions for today. How would you assess the state of the opposition right now in the Senate? And do you feel the voice of the people in Mindanao are being heard?
State of opposition, the coalition is very strong in terms of each one of us very, very assertive kami sa aming paninindigan. Lawyer defending human rights, a person for college students, si Senator Bam. So I feel that the coalition, cohesive kami sa what we stand for on human dignity and human life. And so we're very excited sa February na ma-spread the message across the archipelago. And we thank Rappler nga for giving us this access na naririnig kami even abroad, OFW. So again, hindi to about dilawan or what. Bashing is not the way to go, guys. You're gonna have to go strictly to the issues.
How do you plan to boost your numbers so far, ma'am? We're not performing so well in pre-election surveys, and we take surveys as a glimpse kung kilala ka ba ng tao or hindi. So ano pong gagawin ni Samira Gutoc para makilala?
For the past 21 years, having been a community leader, surveys definitely did not reach the communities where I come from. So definitely because of Rappler and a lot of the media friends, nalalaman yung value ng ating pinanindigan. Just yesterday or 2 days ago, 2 Muslim women won in the U.S. Congress for the first time, and tinag ako and almost 1,000 likes after just a few hours. So I take that as a sign that maybe some people are looking for something new, and maybe I can offer that something new.
Do you have any apprehensions about running?
No, I think I am at the place where I have suffered enough for 1 year, and just this elections is an opportunity to share the story of evacuation and displacement and how we can resolve also peace and war and karahasan at dadaanan to So we're just gonna have to take that challenge, Mara.
And for my final question for today, if Samira Gutoc is elected as Philippine Senator, what stigma about Muslims do you hope to change among Filipinos?
Na hindi kami pwedeng makaibigan, or that malayo kami masyado, or that nakakatakot kami. When we hail a taxi, sana nakakasakay na kami, and maybe seeing me here, nakikita ng mga taxi drivers na may nakakausap rin pala na taong Moro, Muslim, Maranao, na hindi pwedeng makausap din. Pwede rin makarelay ng mga problema at baka makarinig kami ng solusyon galing sa isang taong si Sam na magtatrabaho para sa sambayanan sana.
Thank you so much, Samira, for joining us today.
Thank you, Mara, for following us since Cubao.
There you have it. We just had a Marawi civic leader and senatorial aspirant Samira Gutoc. This is Mara Cepeda. Join us again next time.